This is what I said when I meant I don't want to bring my entire vintage collection out. This is just some of the ones that was at hand, to hand, that I could grab just before this video to talk about reformulations. Oh man. And this is already probably going to be a super long video anyway. Let's keep going because I only got a couple more. And a surprise unboxing at the end. Here's one of my favorite sort of deep woody kind of scents. It is Santos de Cartier Concentre. This is not the original Santos. This is the Flanco Concentre, which I think came out the year after, 1982, I believe. And this is the third formulation of it. And it is great. It is really great. And it is probably, I prefer it better to the original, which is this one. I got this maybe a couple of years ago. This is from the 90s. I'm going to say mid 90s-ish sort of bottle. It might be, look, the scent itself is fine. It still retains all of the top notes. The quality's there. It's just, I think this one's a little bit more refined for the modern man, whereas this one is still of its age, unapologetic and brash. So I guess it's a preference thing. One is not better than the other. Cartier has definitely done a phenomenal job in keeping the essence of the scent, of this particular scent, the same, almost the same. Untouched. Very good. Happy I have both. The next one might not be my favorite fragrance, but it is iconic nonetheless. So when I went hunting around, I thought, why not get the original to experience this iconic, game-changing fragrance in its original form as it was intended. And the thing I'm talking about is, well, you can't tell what this is, can you? Can't tell what this is, but you should actually know what actually this is. There are no other bottles that look like this. This is Fahrenheit by Christian Dior, originally released in 1988. I think so. And this is a bottle from 1994. Original formulation. This is a bottle from 2013. Very good. Both of them very, very good. The only thing that I would say is that this a little bit more tame, but it comes very, very close. In terms of longevity and performance, the original somehow, even after all these years, still is better than the new one, but just tad more floral, tad more petrol. Both still really, really good. I think they did have a little bit of a drop off in 2018. I remember smelling that batch and thinking, this has kind of lost its mojo a little bit, but I believe the newer formulations have come back as well. Still a great fragrance, still a head turner. Of course, you can tell the difference. There's a difference in cap. If you see this cap, it's going to be an older formulation. The box that it should come in, if you can see the box, is this, with the yellow at the bottom, red in the middle, dark blue at the top. That's an original box. These went all the way up until 1988 till 2001. That's when they changed the boxes, which just the blue and the red, I believe. And then they went to the straight up red with the black a few years after that. Here's something I used to mess with back in the early 2000s. I think this fragrance came out in 1999. It is none other than Happy by Clinique. I have an original formulation here from 1999. I have a brand new one, which I picked up only yesterday. And let me tell you that they both still smell great. Slight differences in each one. The performance is still bad because this always had poor performance, which is fine because it just gives you a little burst of happiness every time you spray it. This, I feel like, has a lot more of something like, this is like a mandarin, right? Mandarins, but this one feels like it has like the the bitterness of the skin and a little bit of the stem of the mandarin tree, whereas this one is straight up pulp and fruit and a little bit of vanilla in the base. One way you can actually tell, right? I don't want to get the lids mixed up, but one way you can actually tell is the atomizers themselves. Like the bottle is almost identical, right? The straw is thicker on the older ones. However, I did have a batch from 2015 and it still had the thicker straw. The atomizer mechanism, you see this big white sort of thing that's sticking here? That's on the vintages, right? Which is the new ones don't have that. And inside the actual atomizer sprayer itself, the new ones are orange, if you can see that. And then the old one is just plain white. So if you have access to the bottles, you can tell an old one from a new one. If you have access to the box, the color gradation on the box is somewhat different as well. This is the new box. This is the older box right here. They look identical, except for the back of the box, like there. This is the old one, which I believe is made in the USA. And this is the new one, which is made in Switzerland. And the bottom of it looks like this. It's got the responsible packaging sourcing on it. Whereas the old one doesn't, because it was irresponsible. Too happy to care. You know, when I was saying that some manufacturers actually put the formula number on the back of the box, well, Dior does that as well. And one thing that I noticed between my two bottles of Fahrenheit Absolute is that one had a different formula number to the other one. Does that mean reformulation? Because they smell very, very, very similar. Maybe. It probably does. It probably means that they've exchanged something here or there, or they changed something around. And it was, this only had like a 3-year run. And so it got reformulated once in a 3-year run, which is hard to believe, but it happened. Just so you know. Sometimes you won't even know unless you get a little bit of investigation happening, just by chance, just by accident, or you're an absolute fragrance geek like me and you like looking at these things. Oh yeah. Still, oh yeah. Oh, so good. By the way, there's no actual way to tell the differences in reformulations for these Fahrenheit Absolute bottles and boxes. It's only the formula number that exists right here at the bottom right hand of the box itself. Okay. This guy, Chanel's Platinum Egoiste. Now I have a bottle of this. Oops, don't want to drop it. Idiotically large box. Platinum Egoiste by Chanel. It is from the year 2000. This was released in 1993, I think. Smells great, but it's no Egoiste Platinum, which is the original. So originally, when this was released, it was called Egoiste Platinum because it's a flanker of the original Egoiste. And when it sold much better than Egoiste, they decided, why don't we just call it Platinum Egoiste instead? And they changed it. And when they did that, I believe they also changed a couple of things. Chanel, as you can tell, usually buy when the eau de toilette is above the word Chanel, whereas here on the newer one, it's actually underneath where it says Chanel. This, however, is a splash, which I don't like. This is a spray, which is much better. Both smell great, both smell identical. They just changed the name and the bottle. And even though it's like 7 years apart, and I'm pretty sure there's been, reformulations and stuff like that with this particular fragrance, I don't think it affected it very, very much. Chanel do a very good job at that, especially having to keep fragrances going from the 1920s to the 2020s. So they've had fragrances that have been going for over 100 years and people still like it. Of course, they've made some changes to it to appeal to the modern man and woman. But for the most part, the essence is still there. I don't hear too much crap about Chanel reformulating fragrances, except for Antaeus, because that relied on the oak moss and the civet, which, if you think about it these days, isn't a bad thing to get rid of, especially considering, you know, having to tell people what exactly it is that makes you smell like ass. It's another animal's ass. Quite possibly one of the best reformulations that I've ever come across is for this little guy here. This is Havana by Aramis. And this is the reformulated version. This is the original from the 90s. I used to wear this. I went through a whole big bottle of it. Loved it absolutely. It was one of my favorite scents. I think I may have been too young for it, but God, that smell just brings back so many memories. This also does the same thing. Possibly one of the best reformulations that has ever been done because it's nearly identical. If you spray it on and wear it and smell it and do a side by side, and if you're as keen a nose as I am, you will find differences. I do find this a little bit more complex, a little bit more drier a little bit more wetter in the tobacco. This is a little drier. However, it'll do. Oh, it'll do very much so. In terms of longevity, I get the same from either one. Still pretty good. So don't fret, because this is super cheap and available everywhere you go. This kind of harder to come by. I got it just for nostalgic reasons, and also just to make sure that my mind wasn't playing tricks on me and that I wasn't getting a raw deal with the reformulated bottle. Now here's a rarity. A fragrance reformulation of a fragrance from the 90s that I think is better than the original. That is Versace The Dreamer. It's the last fragrance that was released when Gianni Versace was still alive, and I love this scent. I went through a whole bottle of it in the 90s when it originally came out, and every time I used to spray it on, I used to have to go somewhere where there was a little bit more space just to let it air out for like the first 5 to 10 minutes until it started to get good, and that initial sort of harshness where everything just sort of hits you like a bomb sort of waned a little bit. This does not have that problem. It goes on fine from the first application all the way through to the dry down. Does it last as long and does it project as hard as the original, how I remember? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. But I'll take that. I'll take that over having to be irritated for like the first 5 to 10 minutes upon application. Another thing I must say is that yes, this is cheap. It's a cheapie, which means they've cut corners on ingredients. They've used cheaper ingredients. It does sort of lose a little bit of points in that. However, it's still a great scent. I don't like lavender, but I like it in this. Puts me in a dreamlike state, as per its name. One other reason that I forgot to mention about reformulations is that sometimes when a fragrance is being made by a particular perfumer and that particular fragrance house decides they want an in-house perfumer, that in-house perfumer then needs to keep making that perfume and has to then reformulate the fragrance. Probably one of the best that's ever been done is this. It's Dior Homme. And now this, you can tell by the silver stem on the bottle, is the original formulation. The other ones have a black stem going through the bottle. This, in any way, shape or form that you could get it, is an amazing scent. I do find that there is a little bit more citrus in this one. The iris is a lot more prominent. The cacao takes a little bit of a back seat here. But damn, it's good. So very nice. This is what I said when I meant I don't want to bring my entire vintage collection out. This is just some of the ones that was at hand, to hand, that I could grab just before this video to talk about reformulations. Oh man. And this is already probably going to be a super long video anyway. Let's keep going because I only got a couple more. And a surprise unboxing at the end. We talked about Platinum Egoiste before. Well, here's the original. This is the original bottle. I think I dated this one from like early 90s, but still original formulation. Twist cap. Just phenomenal. That sandalwood, palisander rosewood gets me every time. This was a slow burn, but I eventually got convinced when I got myself a bottle from 2012 and I thought, oh, I really like this. And when I got the original, I really, really loved it. And therefore I've used up quite a bit of it. And what happened to that 2012 bottle? That I offloaded because I could no longer wear it knowing that I have this. It's just the way it goes. Almost dropped that, actually. I was trying to unbox it and I almost dropped it. And the thing I almost dropped was this, Dior Homme Parfum. It's been a hot minute since I actually wore this. And guess what's happening? They're bringing out a new bottle style. And because Dior's new in-house perfumer is Francis Kurkdjian, he's going to reformulate this as one of his first jobs. This people thought had already been reformulated. This is the old 75 ml bottle, which they came out originally in 2015. And I believe in 2020, they came out with the 100 ml bottle. Like I said, Dior publishes their formula numbers on the bottom right-hand corner of the box. Both the 75 ml and the subsequent 100 ml had the same formula number, so therefore it was the same fragrance. People were freaking out. Some people were saying, oh my God, it's different. But it was their mind playing tricks on them because it was the same fragrance. They were comparing something that's probably been aged and macerated well to something they had just opened up. This definitely needs time in the bottle. You need to let air into it and give it some time. Put it away and then bring it back. And then smell it, and it opens up. It took a year for this to actually come good. And now, poof, it is peak. It is peak. My bottle here from what is this bottle from? 2019, this one. I did have another one as well, but that's gone. What's gonna happen with the new one? Well, we'll have to wait and find out when I get my grubby little hands on that bottle, which I will. I'll give you the lowdown on what it's all about, whether MFK has ruined it, but most likely not, because Francis Kurkdjian is a professional, or so we're led to believe. Last but certainly not least, okay, I got this. It is Ultraviolet Man by Paco Rabanne. Is Ultraviolet Man, oh, upside down. Ultraviolet Man by Paco Rabanne. Amazing little spray mechanism, like that. It's nice, I guess, if back in the year 2000 when this came out, this would have been a contender against maybe something like Le Mal by Jean-Paul Gaultier. However, these days, it's just nice. For 40 bucks, yes, it has been reformulated and cheapened up quite a bit. The reason why I bring that up is because I got my hands on something like this. This is Ultraviolet Man and Woman, 5 mils of each, in a very nice, I think crystal-y kind of sort of gizmo right here. I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of colorful in the middle. Can you see it there? There, it's got some colors. Got some colors going on there. Anyway, this is promotional and it's from the year 2000 to promote the fragrance that had just come out. 2000, 2002 maybe. And it has never been opened. And I bought it. It was $5, so I took a chance. Maybe it's ruined, maybe it's not. Maybe I can do a side-by-side comparison with this bottle, which is I don't know, probably like, I don't know, 10 years old or something like that. I haven't really used much of it. I got it for just out of curiosity because it was at the right price. Let's open this up and see for the first time ever think I was supposed to open it like this. Oh, there we go. And then unwrap. Oh, what a little mechanism here. Oh, look at that. Comes out that way. And this, oh, it's got some kind of residue on it, which, and I thought it was a splash, but I thought I saw, okay, it is a splash, okay. Plastic thing. The original of this was rubberized. This one is plastic. So let's see how this is supposed to work. I think I'm supposed to like snap it off. Here we go. I don't really want to put this on my skin. It's been 22 years maybe sitting there. Maybe I can put it somewhere. Let me get some cardboard here. There we go. I got a little piece of cardboard. That'll do. Success. Oh shit! I just dropped it. Okay, that's gonna smell. This smells like turpentine. It's gone off. Well, the big finale is not that great. Good thing I only paid $5 for it. Jesus, it smells horrible. And the bottom one, which is cool, kind of come out like that. This is the women's one. This is the women's ultraviolet. Actually, this is just the ultraviolet. That one is ultraviolet. Man, I don't know if these come apart at all, but there was like a blue crystal version or something like that going on with these, if you can see that. You see that? I'm going to use a different piece of cardboard. So how do I even do this? Ah, it screws off. Okay, this one has the same smell. Surprise, surprise. Wow. Man, they used to like do cool little minis and everything, the promotional sort of campaigns, the, what do you call it? The thought behind the packaging and the product. You know, it wasn't like, yeah, I'm going to stick 25 different Swarovski crystals on it. No, it was different. It was thoughtful, I guess. Nail polish remover. Lovely. Well, it looks like it's gone off. That's my grand finale. And that is all the things that you need to know about reformulations and just some fragrances that have been reformulated. Pretty much, I'd say any fragrance that's over like 10 years old has been reformulated. But here's some that I thought you might like to know about. As always, thanks for watching. All right, going a little bit handheld on this one because I just was cleaning up after doing that latest fragrance review of the reformulations, and I've got my little strip of cardboard here, and just to smell ultraviolet, man. Whoa, that smells way richer and way more like bomb. Amazing. So after that initial dry down, like initial opening of, you know, turpentine or paint stripper or paint thinner, it's come good. And this is the women's one. Yeah, that's also come good as well. It smells really great. I have no reference because I haven't smelled the new version of the women's one, but damn, that's also been formulated. That's also been reformulated to death.